this is Kim with Galway Pursuits. Today the sisters are in Ireland. We just left Dublin and we are headed for Galway, the city of Galway, which is a city along a waterfront. It is known for the many festivals they have there, over 120 I've read. It's a beautiful city, lots of history, the architecture that you would come to expect from Europe. But before we get to Galway, we are going to stop at a castle. So I'll talk about that in a future video. Castle Athlone, Athlone. However, right now you're just joining us for the drive. We drove on the west part of Ireland, and we drove from city to city. It was about 2 to 2.5 hours between each city. Jenny did the driving. Different sisters, this is the castle I was telling you about, navigated. In this particular video, or during this leg of the trip, Sylvia was the navigator, and we're singing songs and just enjoying ourselves, looking at the beautiful foliage along the road. So this is, if you were in a car traveling from Dublin to Galway, Ireland, this is what you would see. See how narrow the roads are? This is the hotel we stayed at, the Harbour Hotel, and we enjoyed our stay there. All the hotels and the bed and breakfast were beautiful that we stayed at. Our accommodations were exceptional. The staff were exceptional. This is a view from the hotel to the city. Now, our hotel was about 2 blocks maybe from the city main streets shopping area. But I just realized I may be mispronouncing Galway. I think it might be pronounced Galway. Somebody help me in the comments if that's the case. But one of the tips that I have for you is VAT receipts. We make sure we got our VAT receipts. Some people got a card, like I think Amy might have gotten a card that you could use. And then when you get to the airport, you can be refunded for any taxes that you paid. But you have to spend $75 in order to be eligible for the VAT refund. Now, the architecture in Ireland is beautiful. It's like all over Europe. You know, they have the stately buildings, the bricks. That's a mural that you're looking at. Amy is shopping for an Aran sweater. Ireland is known for its wool, its knitwear, Aran sweaters. So Amy got an Aran sweater. Brandon wanted one, so I brought him one back from Ireland. And if you want to talk about prices, I mean, the one I bought was $70, but you know, I go on the lower priced end of things, but you could spend, of course, a lot more. And these knitwear and this wool and sweaters is something unique to Ireland. And if you get a chance, it's always a good opportunity to get a quality souvenir. I tried to think about what actually we did in Galway because we were there for 2 days. But part of our time was spent, of course, touring the castle. As I look back, this is the Galway girl. Jenny and I both took a picture sitting next to her. I really didn't know who she was until we got to Ireland. But Ed Sheeran has done a song and made it kind of famous. That's a neat sign that was at one of the restaurants, in front of one of the restaurants. And if you get a chance, read about the legend of this girl and what the song is based on, kind of a semi-autobiographical story of the songwriter's reaction to a beautiful black-haired, blue-eyed girl he meets in Galway, Ireland. So I thought that was kind of a cool story and something I learned about Ireland. Now we're just walking around the streets. There was kind of like a farmer's market or flea market on one of the streets. I bought a bookmark there. I think Sylvia bought some things there as well. This lady does sand sculpting, and she did a beautiful job. You want to remember to tip the sculptors and the artisans. We also saw some wrappers, kind of interesting. And then there was ladies along the way that would braid beads into your hair, or maybe some of the wool into your hair. I thought that was kind of interesting. I didn't expect that. So a lot of things that I hadn't seen before, and we really enjoyed our stop in Galway. This is more footage of us walking around Galway, and we spent most of our time actually in Galway, shopping, eating at coffee stores, stopping at bakeries, figuring out what we were going to do for meals. And then, of course, in the evening we rested. I walked along the waterfront in the mornings, and I just really enjoyed that quiet time before we would get back on the road. But this is the area I was telling you about that was kind of like a farmer's market. Like they had food and like self-care kind of things and little knick-knack things, and it just gave me a feel of a flea market. It was on one of the side streets. They had beautiful murals. If you'll see this mural, there was a mural earlier on in the video, and it just was beautiful to see. Look at the architecture, the tall brick buildings, the beautiful doors. You know, I like doors if you've looked at any of my other videos. Now, The other sisters bought some jewelry. You'll have to research this ring. It's an Irish ring called a Claddagh ring. And we went into this visitor center. Sitting here now, the sisters are watching a video. You can't see them, but to the right behind this door, there's a gentleman that actually fashions the rings. And he told me that he started out, he's behind that door there. He told me he started out as an apprentice, and he had been doing it for 30 years. I thought that was interesting. So if you want to know more about the rings, this is a picture of the rings. Amy and Jenny, I think Sylvia, all got one of the rings. And then we went into this long discussion you'll see as we're walking along, where Jenny tells us how to clean your jewelry. And so you just learn so much from the sisters and the different expertise they had. And she showed us the special cloth, and then that turned into, we walked along and we went to this jewelry store and we bought a cloth to clean the rings. And it's just a lot of fun. Even though I didn't buy any jewelry, I learned a lot. I know all about cleaning rings. And this is a bakery. We stopped. We weren't even hungry half the time, but we stopped at these places because it looks so good. Look at this, the delicacies that they have and the breads. And of course, we tried a lot of them. I don't think we gained weight on this trip because we did a lot of walking, but we should have, because we stopped at every bakery almost and cake store, and there are quite a few of them in Ireland. Just beautiful. Look at that. Some of the pastries at this particular bakery, and it is real close to the hotel. So we stopped there on that particular day. I think it was called the Bake Box or Bakery Box or something like that. And I just took pictures of the inside of the bakery. And so we're going to keep walking along, eating our pastries at this point. You're going to see more footage in Galway because we actually went back twice because I asked for who wanted souvenirs, and so we had to go back the next day, and if things we hadn't gotten the day before, we went back. You see those birds flying around. Now you're going to see, hopefully coming up soon, at the end of the video, you'll see the harbor and the waterway, because that's where I spend a lot of times in the morning, just my quiet time. I think I've said in the past that people ask us about sisters, how do you get along? And well, hey, we're women of a certain age. We get along fabulously. We've been traveling for 8 years together, mostly domestically, but we've added international the last 3 or 4 years. Every other year we travel internationally. So we get along great. Do we have disagreements from time to time? Yes, we do. But there are 5 sisters. 4 made this trip, and we're great friends. The preparation for the trip is a lot of fun. After the trip, the recapping, the talking about it, the sharing, the planning, the next trip, we just enjoy the whole process. But that was a question we got asked a couple times about how we get along. Because sometimes I guess sisters don't get along, but we get along great. And it seems like the older we get, the better we get along. So that's all I have to say on that subject.
I brought them stuff like that. Like I brought some little purses from the Bahamas, stuff like that, and they carry them for a little bit, and then they like.
So I'm going to end my commentary here. I always like to just leave you with some raw footage, just an opportunity just to kind of experience what we would experience without my necessarily conversation in the background. If you visited Ireland, if you have Irish stories or tips on traveling in Ireland, please put those in the comments, and please like, subscribe, and share. And I'll get back with you on our next leg of the journey in an upcoming video. Thank you.